you want to learn to love math again, go to Mr. Ng's website or to his YouTube channel. He will teach you to learn to love math again. Mr. Ng, the #1 math teacher in the whole world.
Okay, so in 1.75, instead of number 19, I think it was the fencing problem. I'm replacing it with this pool problem. A rectangular pool is currently 20 feet long and 15 feet wide. So you draw a picture. This is 15 and 20. Hadley wants to increase both the length and the width with the same amount. So the same amount is going to be x. So here's x. Here's also x. To create a larger pool. However, she can only afford enough tiles to cover an additional 20 square feet. So let me color it in. This blue portion is the additional 20 square feet of pool surface. What is the maximum increase in length and width that she can afford? Okay, one thing that we need to note is the original pool, 15 times 20 is 300. So this is 300 square feet, and she can afford 200 more square feet. 200 plus 300 gives me a total of 500. Now the units aren't important. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is we drew a picture. Let's call that step 0. And then step number 1, we need to create a quadratic inequality. So my quadratic inequality, my first one, is going to be, the length and the width actually don't matter which one you pick. That's going to be my first equation, x plus 15. And then my second one is this side. So that would be 20 plus x. 20 plus x. And then if you think about it, if the new pool is going to be 500 square feet, that means it cannot be bigger than 500. So I want less than or equals to 500. So that is step 1, determine the quadratic inequality. Okay. Step 2 is to solve for the inequality. So let's solve it. That means getting for x. So what I'm going to do here, let's use yellow. I'm going to multiply these two using the box. Remember, 20 plus x is the same thing as x plus 20. I'm going to go ahead and multiply these. So I have 20x, 300, x squared, and 15x. So I have x squared. This is 35x. Plus 300 is less than or equal to 500. So all I did there was double distribution, FOIL, using or multiplying. Okay, now I wanted to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 500 from both sides. And then I'm left with x squared plus 35x minus 200 is less than or equal to 0. The easiest way is to see if we can factor this. So let's factor it. A times C is negative 200. Your B value is 35. So my calculator trick is to put it in your table of values. So I have 200 divided by x. Can't type 200. And then if I go to my table, these are the numbers that multiply to be 200. And so basically what I want to figure out is these two numbers now add or subtract to be 35. So for example, 50 times 4 is 200, but 50 minus 4 is 46 and not 35. I'm looking for whole numbers. So it looks like this number, 40 and 5. So now I'm going to factor. I'm going to make this one negative. So 40 times negative 5 is negative 200, and then 40 minus 5, or 40 plus negative 5 is 35. So x plus 40, and x minus 5. And then if I solve this, set it equal to 0, get x equals negative 40, and x equals 5. These are the two that I want from the graph, the visual. So that was step number 2, solve the inequality. Step number 3, plot the solutions on a number line. So let's go ahead and do that. Here is 5, is 40. And so now we want to test the inequality. We want to know where they're true and false. You can type this into your calculator. To speed up the process, remember you're going to pick from last week's lesson. We picked 3 regions. It was purple, yellow, and green. So you're picking numbers inside these regions. Remember, do not pick those exact numbers. So say you pick 41. I'm going to pick 0. And then orange, I'm probably going to pick 6. And then when I put in the number, I am testing it with, is it less than or equal to 0? Let's put it in. So I'm going to do x plus 40. You can also put in the original quadratic from standard form. Okay, basically put in 41 in here. Your value will be 2,916. So I'm letting the calculator do the work. Obviously, you can put it in there. Okay, 0 is negative 200. So is negative 200 smaller than 0? The answer is true. And then if I chose 6, that is 46. Is 46 smaller than 0? That would be false. Okay. So in class, we talked about how it's negative 40. Oh, I chose the wrong number. Negative 46. And 46 is less than 0. That's false. Okay, so our interval notation, we would just said our answer is negative 40. It would be a bracket because we have equals to 5. But in real life, so we did step number 4 here, we're testing. the values, is you cannot have negative numbers for a pool. So you'd probably want to do something like 0 to 5. Now, of course, if you chose 0, the pool's not going to increase. But if you chose, say, 1, you can put in 20 plus 1 is 21, and 1 plus 15 is 16, and so when you multiply those numbers, it's going to be less than 500, which you can afford. So your answer in integral notation is 0 to 5.
We doing math today, ain't got time for no games. We doing math today, all work and no play. We doing math today.